Hey guys, Miss Warren here. Today I'm going to talk to y'all about landscapes and composition. Composition is how somebody arranges stuff on the page. You can arrange music on the page. You're a music composer if you do that. Composition writing is how you arrange words and sentences on the page. And in artwork, composition is how you arrange the objects, the principles, and the elements on your artwork. So I just found a calendar with lots of examples of landscape photography for us to kind of analyze this. So in most landscape photography, there is an outdoor scene. That's the definition of a landscape. It's an outdoor scene. It can have objects in it, it can have nature in it, but there's an outdoor scene. Now, most landscapes have a foreground, something that's up close, a midground, something that's in the middle, and a background, which is normally the sky and maybe some mountains. Normally, in most professional photography and paintings, each one takes up 1/3 of the page. So we kind of call that rule of thirds. So let me open up to another one I have tabbed here. So this is a seascape. It's a type of landscape featuring the ocean. We have these flowers in the foreground. Now, instead of just being a straight line across, this one kind of goes diagonal. So this section is diagonal, and that's the foreground. It's the closest thing to me. So if I were to draw this, I'd probably draw this little hill here, and there'd be lots of detail on everything here. Then I would draw the shoreline for the midground and do all the sand and maybe a few rocks. Then the background up here has the sky, the rocks, and the ocean, and all that stuff is far away and less detailed. The other thing you'll see in landscapes is that this is more brightly colored, but as you move back and back and back into space, things become duller and more sky colored. That's called atmospheric perspective. The things that are further away are more the same color of the atmosphere. So take that into consideration as you're drawing and planning. So let's look at another one. So this one is like a mountain and a lake landscape. We have the foreground, we have like a little bit of water and grass that you can actually see the individual hairs on the grass up close. Then you might be able to consider the water the foreground too. We have a reflection of the mountains and the trees in the water. Then the midground here is this tree line. The closer up larger trees, you can see like branches and details. But if you get kind of farther away, it's harder to see the individual leaves on the branches and the details. So this would be the midground. Now the background would be like the mountains and the sky. All of your landscapes are going to have what is called a horizon line. A horizon line is the line where the earth meets the sky. So this one, it's really wiggledy because it goes up the mountain. This is the horizon line. Okay, so now we're gonna look at, I thought I had a desert landscape tab. There's a couple different ones in here. We can kind of flip through. This one has a road in it. Yet again, we have like foreground things up close, midground, the trees, and the background, the sky. The one on the front. Let me flip this way, see if we can find that desert landscape. Okay, here's a desert landscape. So this is the Grand Canyon. So up close, in the foreground, you have some branches sticking out here and here that are kind of helping frame your picture. You might even consider this rock foreground. So if you were to outline the foreground, it would kind of go in an L shape. Then you have your midground. All the rocks in this valley in the Grand Canyon here is your midground. And then you have the sky in the background. Now, I want to talk to y'all about one more thing, placement of important objects. Now, oftentimes it looks boring if you were to put your important object right in the middle of the picture. It looks a little more interesting if you put your important objects 1/3 of the way into the picture. So here you have the sunshine 1/3 of the way in the picture, not exactly in the middle. Let's see if we can find another. Here in that ocean landscape we looked at earlier, you have this large rock 1/3 of the way into the middle, and the bunch of flowers kind of ends, and there's some contrast 1/3 of the way on this side. Not everything's all bunched up in the middle. And it lets stuff go off the edge of the page. So just kind of considering composition for that. Let's see if we can look at a few others. So here's another example of the rule of thirds is what it's called. You have the foreground, the midground, and the background, and any important objects are not in the middle. They're 1/3 of the way into the paper. So the lighthouse is 1/3 of the way into the paper, and the setting sun is 1/3 of the way into the paper. It's not smack dab in the middle. So this one, yes, the mountain's in the middle, but you see like the tallest tree, the tallest and most important tree is 1/3 of the way into the middle, and the other trees are 1/3 of the way into the middle. So now that we looked at some, we're gonna go ahead and try drawing a few. So start thinking about what you would want in your landscape, and I'll come back with some examples.